Is Agile an art? Hell yeah, it is. That's this week on the Badass Agile podcast. Greetings, team. Welcome to the Badass Agile podcast. I'm your host, Chris Williams. Hello, friends. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for supporting Badass Agile over the years. I'm really happy to see you. This week, I want to talk about the artistry in what we do. I think this sets the tone for our practice for the next 3 to 5 years. So I want you to have an opinion on this and give this a good think. But first, let's take a moment to remember why we're here. To create an elite tribe of leaders who truly serve their clients and communities by doing what matters and what works. Relentlessly chasing value and excellence like a badass. There's so many resources out there about what you need to do to be agile, but we're focused on who you need to become in order to lead teams. So let's hammer down those fundamentals to create a truly unique and powerful force in this industry. Now, if this helps you, please share this with your friends. Spread the word. You can also check us out on the Facebook Badass Agile Listener Lounge and anywhere they serve up good old-fashioned social media. So, is Agile an art? Well, to a point. Now here's what. I think it needs to be, especially now. Here's why. You've heard me speak before, many times, about the saturation of the market. As more and more people are attracted to the lifestyle and to the salary, you're going to have more and more people gaming the system and bending the rules to try to get themselves into a Scrum Master or Agile career. Now, this is a good thing. Anywhere we're creating opportunity, creating the future, I believe we're creating better conditions for great civilization. We need that now more than ever. But remember, anytime supply exceeds demand, anytime numbers grow exponentially, you'll be looking at the commoditization of Agile talent. Think of it this way. Anytime a machine gets big enough, problems of scale, problems of complexity, problems that Agile was initially designed to combat and solve, ensue. So we start facing questions like, as more and more practitioners enter the market, how do we standardize practices? What are the best tools? What does excellence look like? And how do we measure it? And all of this is problematic because we become the very thing that we're trying to solve in the first place, which is a big, fluffy, bloated engine. In the best case scenario, you'll have a very large number of people practicing Scrum or some kind of framework, using a manual, an operator's guide, a set of rules and regulations or standard operating procedures. Now, this, to my mind, puts us back in the industrial age, where we seek to improve and enhance certainty, safety, and consistency so that every Big Mac tastes like a Big Mac no matter where you go to get it. And that means that there are a bunch of people back in that kitchen who have been trained to stamp out sameness in order to get that consistency, to get that taste that we all love and crave. Nothing wrong with having that job, but are those high-paying, artisanal careers? Well, that's up to you. The difference is who will bring their passion to the process. See, because passion can overturn the process. When you have a passion for solving interesting business problems, when you have a passion for driving a compelling, brilliant, inspiring vision, then the process that you use ceases to matter. Because the passion will start to push the right buttons to invoke the right behaviors, such as prioritization, continuous improvement, inspection, self-organizing teams, and so on. But what we need in order for that to happen is a bunch of organic rule breakers. People who look at a job or a business and say, I'm not defined by the process, I'm defined by the outcome. I'm defined by the amount of change I'm able to make, the impact that I can create. Now that's the exciting part, and that's where the artistry is. I'm less interested in your fidelity to tools and frameworks, even Scrum or Agile principles themselves, and more interested in how do you use those principles, morph them and bend them, and make them your own in the same way that a painter has colors on their palette. It's what you do with those colors, how you combine them or omit them, that makes you a true original. Your voice matters. Your passion matters. And when you bring the true expression of your soul's purpose to your work, then you're creating art. Not when you're stamping out hamburgers with precise tools to give you a predictable flavor experience. Bring your artistry forward. Choose first the outcome that you intend to create. Choose first the change or the impact that you're looking to serve up. Once you decide that your passion is for a great customer experience, then you might decide that the hamburger is just a small part of that experience. The process that you use to make it with consistency, might or might not matter. It might be the small variations that make things interesting, or you might decide that you don't want to run a hamburger factory in the first place. In which case, you may find that in order to be an artist, you might have to leave the place that you're currently at because what they want is process. What they believe will help them is certainty and safety. But I can tell you this, in the current conditions that we're experiencing, think about it. What's going to happen next? Logically, more and more Scrum Masters entering the field, more and more Agile practitioners entering the field, more and more consolidated large-scale businesses gobbling up smaller ones, chewing up the disruptors as soon as they're disruptive enough to be noticed. Now you have a proliferation of Bank Agile, rules and regulations, the employee manual, designed to keep your fingers off of the bandsaw, designed to make that Big Mac taste just like a Big Mac. What gets sacrificed in the process of creating that consistency of experience? The joyfulness of the work. If you're a chef, you create experiences that can be tasted, smelled, enjoyed, viewed, little works of art that you can gobble up with your senses. Stamping out food items according to a process, according to a scale, and a precise measurement is a job. And again, you can choose to do that job with artistry, but if the organization doesn't want your artistry, they want consistency and predictability, you're going to need to take your artwork someplace else. A serious chef, a true artist, is going to open their own burger joint so that they're free to experiment, to create new things, and to see the impact of their choices in customer delight, in that culinary experience. And so it is with any kind of work that you do. You can choose to apply your artistry to bring passion instead of succumbing to process to create great and beautiful and interesting results. Or you can decide that you're simply going to fill a role. You're going to be a Scrum Master and do the expected Scrum Master things. Now, this is not a judgment, but I want you to see the analog here. Once you make that choice, you are effectively the same as a project manager, in the sense that when Agile first came out, we were looking at project management processes, and we were looking at waterfall processes and techniques, and we were saying, this is one size fits all, this is rubber stamping, this is serving to report status and create documents of certainty, and it's not serving us, and we want something bigger, and we want something different. Just because you're called a Scrum Master and you use Scrum principles and Scrum frameworks doesn't necessarily make you any different than a project manager or a line cook, in the sense that you're just repeating processes in a predictable order with a predictable format, predictable ins and outs. Do you want to be an artist? Because I do. And if you do too, you should notice that the industry is calling you. You have a choice to make. You can try to bring your artistry to big bank Agile, big box Agile, large-scale organizations, and bump up against the resistance. Surrender to a compromised version of agility. Or you can say, what I do isn't prescription by the book, out of the box, Agile or Scrum or anything else. What I'm doing is creating beautiful outcomes, beautiful change. And maybe I can only do it 10 people at a time. Maybe I can only reach 5 people. Maybe I can only change one person in a moment. But it is that change, that spark, that becomes the artistry. It is your passion for making things better somehow, some way, using the knowledge that you've gained from studying and practicing Agile over the years to create something truly new. And we're going to need something truly new because our industry is changing, and we no longer need good software with predictable quality and happy teams and fewer defects and less wasted time. That job of agility should be done and dusted. And if you stay in that realm, you become a line cook. You become a gas pumper. And again, not that there's anything wrong with those jobs, but recognize that the most artistry you can bring is in the subtle changes that you make, the small incremental tweaks that you make to try and test different things to make them more productive, to make them just 1% better. But if you want to make giant leaps, the artistry is in the new. The artistry is in the unpredictable. The artistry is in the unknown, the willing to leap where nobody has leaped before, to present your artwork, whether that's your coaching skill, whether that's a new philosophy of delivering things, or whether that's an application of Agile or Scrum talent to something that's non-technical. It doesn't matter. That's the beginning. That's the root of something truly new and something truly valuable. And in this marketplace, if you want to survive, you got to stay valuable. My friends, consider this. Is your Agile artistry? Is your gift to the world truly a work of art, or is it an unlimited reproduction? Choice is yours, but I can tell you from experience which one is way more fulfilling, way more fun, and a much more exciting ride. I hope this one inspires you and ignites you, gets you to do something new and move in new directions, and I want to hear all about it. So make sure you tell me, what'd you think of this episode? Is it changing where you're going to go in 2023? As always, you can find me at badassagile.com. I'm not sure if you'll be able to find me on Twitter, but for now I'm at badass_agile. Until that whole thing self-destructs. You can find me on Instagram at badassagile. And don't forget to look me up on Clubhouse and YouTube and all the other channels. My friends, thank you once again for listening. I look forward to seeing you next time. And until then, stay badass.